Hi, this is Murali. In this video, I am going to show you how you can quickly create chatbots in SAP to support with queries from employees who are returning to work after several months of lockdown. I will also demonstrate how you, as an employer, can leverage some of the free solutions in Qualtrics to capture the sentiments and concern of your employees in order to be able to create a safe and comfortable work environment. Now, there are two solutions which I'm going to leverage for this scenario: Conversational AI for chatbots and Qualtrics for surveys. Remember, both these solutions are available for trial and you can register for an account and try it out yourself. So I'm going to begin with creating a chatbot. So I've already logged on to SAP Conversational AI and you can see that I've already got some couple of chatbots here. I'm going to start by creating a new bot. And I have two options here. One is I can create a bot which performs actions. So this is by these bots would then interact with the backend systems and trigger some processes, or it would just retrieve answers based on an FAQ document. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use an FAQ document. So let's start with providing a name for the bot. Give it as return to work. And in the data policy, I'll select as non-personal, non-vulnerable, and would set the visibility of the bot to public, and I'll create the bot. The next thing that I need to do is to provide an FAQ document for this bot. Now for this demonstration, I've already created an FAQ document here, and it's got two columns here. The column A is set of questions, and then column B is set of answers. So if a user puts in a question, can I work from home today? The response the bot would provide is, we prefer to have you work from home. Similarly, if there's a question around, do I need to come to work with a face mask? Then the response is face masks are not required. Notice that there are some questions for which there are no answers here. These are referred to as alternate questions. So the first two questions will result in the bot providing this as the answer. So similarly, there are a set of alternate questions related to travel. So whether, if the user asks a question about travel restrictions or if they can fly to New Zealand to meet a customer, the answer will be all international and domestic work travel remains suspended. So you can provide a set of alternate questions and the bot will be able to map them to the same answer. Now, most of the organizations will have their own set of FAQ documents, along with some of the regulations that have also come out from the government agency. So all these things can be compiled and be prepared into a format that I'm showing here, into a CSV file, and you can then load this into this particular chatbot that has been created. So I'm going to click on browse and load this particular FAQ document. Now once this is ready, I can actually open this particular file here and then see all the questions and answers that have been loaded. And I can click on the edit button here and also make any changes, or if I have a new set of questions and answers which are coming in on a regular basis, I can also add them using this option. Now the good thing is the chatbot already comes with predefined skills. So you don't really have to do a lot of things if you just want to get something up and running quickly. So there are lots of skills that are around how should the bot respond when you say hello or thank you. All those things have been taken care of. So obviously, you can actually go into the details and also amend and modify these things accordingly. So if I start with saying hello, you would get either hi there, or you would get a message saying hello, I'm a FAQ bot. So you can actually go and change all these things according to your requirements, but these are basic things that comes predefined in your system. With this, we're now ready to test the chatbot. So I can use the option at the bottom right hand corner, chat with your bot, and I can actually start to test this bot by just triggering it. I can start with my first question, can I work from home? And it'll pick up the relevant response from the FAQ document and provide me a response. I can also ask about the face mask. Do I need to wear and it'll give me a response saying face masks are not required. Let me also try and give a bit of a variation in the question. What are the disinfecting measures at work? What are the disinfecting measures in place at work? Now, we haven't really given this as a question in the FAQ document, but it is trying to find which is the closest question that can match this particular question that we have given. So in this case, I'm going to say, okay, this is relevant to the first question, so I'm going to select as Q1, and I get a response that office is cleaned 3 times a day with disinfectants. So now I'll say yes, this particular question has been answered. Now, as and when you are providing all these inputs to the bot, there is a monitoring engine behind it which is making note of all the interactions with the bot. So I can go into this particular log feed and then see what are all the questions that are being asked. Now I'm just going to pick up the one that we gave around disinfecting measures at work, and you can see that it's actually tried to provide a content ranking based on some of the existing questions here, and I can actually assign this particular question as an alternate question to how often is this office cleaned. And if I click on assign, you can see how it's actually editing the alternate questions here. And when I click on assign, this will now be taken care. It'll know next time if somebody asks this question, it will straight away give a response. So let's go back here and ask the same question, and now it knows exactly what is the answer for that particular question. The next thing that we're going to look at is how do you actually connect these bots with your applications. So that's where we go into the connect tab, and there are plenty of options that are out here. So predominantly you will see bots being embedded within your corporate portal. So if you already have your own corporate portal within your organization, you can actually use either a conversational AI web client or just a web chat, and this will guide you through the process as to how you can embed this particular chatbot as a HTML frame within your websites. Or you could also look at other messaging platforms. There are all the popular messaging platforms are also provided as options here. So if you're using Skype, Teams, Slack, or Twilio, you can easily embed conversational AI into all these messaging platforms too. So for this demonstration, I've actually configured conversational AI with Microsoft Teams as well as with Slack. So I've just followed the instructions that are out here to configure this with Microsoft Azure. So I'm not going to go through this whole steps here. I'm going to show you what I've actually done in terms of the configuration. So what you can see here is Microsoft Azure. So within Microsoft Azure, I have created a bot service, just named it as return to work FAQ. And in the settings, I've actually configured the settings with the conversational AI bot that I have just created. So you will see all the app IDs and the secrets that have been set up out here. That's where you would make an entry. And in the channels, this is where you get to see how you can expose some of the channels with conversational AI. So either if you want to connect it with Alexa, with Skype, or with Teams, you have an option. So I've actually created an entry here with Teams. And when I click on this will actually open up the Teams that I have on my laptop. The return to work bot now shows up within Teams, and I can actually start to interact with it straight away from here. So let me invoke this particular bot, and I can ask the same questions that I tried out earlier. So I can say, can I work from home? And this will use the same FAQ document to be able to find the response and provide that to me out here. So I could also do the same with other platforms. Like I've also configured this with Slack. So now I'm going to quickly switch to Slack and also show the same integration with Slack. So I'm going to navigate to my particular workspace in Slack, and in the apps I'm going to go and add this particular app. So I've already installed this return to work app within this particular space, and when I open it up, I'll be able to invoke it with the same hi message, and then it comes back with the message that I'm your FAQ bot. Now let's give a question here. Do I need to wear a face mask? And this will provide me with response that face masks are not required. So I can say that yes, this answered my question. Meanwhile, what I'll do is I will try and open my phone to just show you how this also comes up on my phone. So the good things about these messaging apps are these are quite often these are all used on your devices. So whenever people are outside, they can actually use these messaging apps and start to use the chatbot embedded within these messaging apps. Now I'm going to try and finish this conversation with this particular bot, and it's going to pop up with a message saying, we want to make sure you're comfortable getting back to work. If you've not taken the survey, please do so. And this is where I have actually introduced as a Qualtrics survey. So I can actually click on this particular Qualtrics survey and then go through a set of questions to be able to understand what are some of the sentiments and preferences for employees when they're actually heading back to work. So this set of questions, these are mostly the standard questions that are there in the Qualtrics solution. So I've just used the same thing. I have not enhanced them. So we'll just walk through one or two questions here. So the first one is, how comfortable are you returning to work? Either you can select from a couple of responses out here. What are your main concerns about coming back into workplace? There are again a couple of options out here. So I'm going to say, commuting is going to be a big problem for me, and I can actually provide a response here that that I travel to work by train. And not comfortable. So you can actually go ahead and answer such questions out here, and this is where as an employer you'd be able to track the responses that your staff are giving and be able to understand and see how else you can best improve their experience when they come back to the workplace. So I'm actually going to stop this sharing of my phone, and I'm going to jump into the browser and walk you through the Qualtrics process. So when you go on to Qualtrics, again, if you don't have an account, you can create a trial account and sign up and get access to some of these solutions. So when you create a new project, there are plenty of COVID-19 related solutions which are available for free, so you can actually turn them on and start using these solutions. So I've actually picked the one which is return to work, and I have created a project based on that particular solution. So when you go into this particular project, you have an option to edit the surveys. So by default it comes with a dozen questions. If you have any additional questions or if you want to modify them, you can do all these things out here within the surveys. And you also have the option to be able to go and view the reports as to how are people responding to the questions that are out there for this particular survey. So you have an option to download this particular reports from the reports tab. So once employers have announced this particular survey and people have responded, so they can actually go into the reports and download a summary. So you have actually downloaded using this particular option here. I'm going to open up the PDF, and this will just give you at a very high level the summary as to what the responses are. So you get to see, what are the concerns that employees have raised with. You get to see those keywords and what are the options that they selected in for some of the questions. So you get to know straight away, what are some of their sentiments and their preferences in terms of coming back to work. So with that, I conclude this particular demonstration. And as you saw, it's very easy to set up conversational AI and Qualtrics to support employees who are returning back to work. I would encourage you to try out these solutions and see how best you can use them within your organization. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.